final. I know we're off the tail end of a wild series there with Optic and Unilad, but it's interesting, Joe. You know, we had all these wild things go down in pools, and then you get to the top 8, there's 2 teams from EU, 2 teams from the APAC, but when you just look at the 2 teams standing at the end of the winner's bracket, of course, it's the top team from Division A, it's the top team from Division B, it's Red versus Rise. It's exactly what you expected it to be.
I mean, that's what we saw at Seattle, right? It was the 2 top teams from the Pro League consistently putting in that practice, putting in that performance, and here we are once again, Red Reserve looking so darn good right now. Can they stop Rise Nation? That'll be the big thing, because Rise, they're looking for that back-to-back championship.
All right, well, here we go. We'll kick things off with Scraps. He was absolutely stellar in their last series. They'll be the first in the Hardpoint here at Restaurant, trying to do battle with Gunless on the opposite side. Do you have a favorite in this one, Joe? Does it got to be Rise? Their favorites coming in.
I think it has to be Rise Nation. I mean, just looking at their Seattle performance, how they've performed in the Pro League thus far, and it just seems, yes, they do have slow Fridays at times. As Zero, he's going to find a couple of kills. He's been a clutch guy for Red. Really surprised us with his performance. But, I mean, yeah, Rise Nation, I think they're the team to beat. When you look at them from top to bottom, they're just so darn good.
Most of the time, going to Red here early, but they don't have the spawns for the next Hardpoint, trying to fight through, but Scraps not able to take the gunfight with that bar in the hand of Slasher. Are there any, is there one player, one matchup that you're really looking at for these 2 teams when it comes to Hardpoint?
I'm going to look at Joe versus Gunless. Those are the flex players. Obviously, I think a lot of people would lean towards Gunless right now, as a lot of people call him the best player in the world. I think I do as well. But if Joe can step up big time, he makes a lot of the right plays. He's very aggressive. If he has a big performance here throughout this match, yeah, I could see Red Reserve, sort of taking it. But we'll have to wait and find out. Is Gunless right now able to find 1 kill as they rotate over towards Winery? He's sitting at 2 and 3. Nate's coming in from Red Reserve as they're pushing through the front, and he finds another one.
And speaking of Gunless, man, he's leading all flex players in bracket play respawn KD at a 1.27. You talk a lot about him being the best player in the world. He's gotten into that form once we got to bracket play. Rise Nation trying to build a bit of a lead here, up 14. As Red Reserve trying to crack through, and they're able to do it. They're able to push through the front through white, and now spawning ammo will be Rise Nation as they're gonna push for the remaining time. Not worry about the rotation yet to the next Hardpoint. Looney the only one really starting the transition.
Yeah, so Red Reserve, they're going to give up these last 10 seconds here at Winery. Rise Nation, they're going to have about a 25-point lead, but you can see what Red's doing. You already have Joe inside that next hill. You have one player that Scraps up top. Restaurant, he's going to win that gunfight. Doesn't win the second one, but he weakens TJ, and now this is where the push starts for Rise Nation. You have Zero pushed out towards this tank. Here comes that first push. Looney going to be the first guy in, as you was expecting. Well, he loses that first gunfight, but here comes TJ and Slasher.
They're trying to make the plays here. Gunless pushing up, will get picked off. TJ, though, able to again win a big one-on-one gunfight. He's going to get swarmed there by 3 players. Looney the next man up, but his teammates all coming off spawn, having to push through radio tower. Nice setup here for Red.
I love that play, though, from Looney. You think he's going to sort of push that, try to take the initiative, but he just backs down and waits for his teammates. How many times make it a 4 versus 4?
How many times do we see that, though? The one player tries to take a gunfight when they
staggered.
It's nice patience there, and a big reason why we talk about Looney being one of the most intelligent SMG players in the game. Regardless, it is Red that's able to get the remaining time. 10 seconds on parking lot. They'll be able to soak up and Rated in a position here in a one-on-one fight that he's able to take with Slasher, and now get set up for next. Those are big one-on-ones. Rated wins his, Scraps wins his, that allows them to get set up and now deal with the troops that continue to come in from Rise Nation.
Yeah, and it was a perfect hold at parking lot for Red Reserve. Remember, it was 61-35 when we went into that one. They picked up 53 points. They win this rotation. Well, it's pretty back and forth so far. Look out, as Slasher, he's able to find 2. Here comes Scraps, though. He's winning some gunfights, and just the trade, just so back and forth. Both of these teams so talented. Who's going to be that one guy that sets off a spark? It's looking like it could be Zero. He's at 14-8 on a 2 spree as Red Reserve. They take a 40-point lead.
And Zero has seemed to be back in that MVP form this weekend, man. He has been absolutely nuts. He's actually, I believe, I'm trying to pull it up real quick, I think he's leading all support SMG players. When you talk about respawn KD, he has a 1.23, leads all of them. So statistically, there are a bunch of phenoms throughout the course.
Are you sure he's a support
player?
player?
He can't be shocked. Well, that's what he's listed at least for our stat category, but no, he hasn't really been playing like that, though, has he? He's been absolutely frying. I guess he just kind of lists Scraps as maybe the more aggressive SMG.
Yeah, and after that Winery hold that Rise Nation had where they got to about 60 points, it's been all Red Reserve. We're going to head back to Restaurant, a new set of hills, but a 70-point lead now for Red is Well, they've really started to step it up. Now on board with Joe as Zero finds a couple of kills. He hasn't slowed down. He's at 18-10, and this is a perfect hold here at Restaurant. There's just one player from Rise. That's Looney, who's up top.
And this is interesting because, you know, you heard the stats about TJ Haley. Typically when he plays well for Rise Nation, they win maps. Regardless of what it is, Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, CTF, when he's playing well, they win. Right now, he's playing great. He's a 17-13, but they're getting smoked. And you take a look at the bottom right of the screen, Zero may be able to get some streaks behind this as well, but you see the kill feed goes all yellow for a moment. Scraps wants none of it, almost to burn the third.
Yeah, he almost does, and that's really what we've seen from Scraps all day. When he's that last player alive, he's finding 2 to 3 kills at a time, which makes him such a special player. Gunless, though, he's able to pick up 3. Slasher finds a 4th, so we're going to head back to Winery. There's 6 seconds left here on Restaurant, and once again, Rise Nation, they win this rotation, but it's really just that hill. Besides that Winery hill, it's been all Red Reserve as they have a very big lead. We'll see now, can Rise Nation start to get back into this one? You can see on that scoreboard, before Slasher went down, he was on a 5 spree. It was at 10 kills in a row for Rise Nation.
And that would have been huge. Look at Gunless as well. Like, if Slasher were able to get streaks, Gunless got streaks as well. That may be where the comeback rally comes, but perhaps they can do it without the streaks. There's a reason they've been touted the best team in the game. Slasher now coming in on a big flank. He's going to line up multiple players. There's the first. Scraps just able to hit the edge. Scraps actually gets 2 as he pushes through, so things fall apart. Once again, Red able to bust through the front.
Yeah, and once again, that's what Scraps has been doing. He's been finding multiple kills at a time, just put so much pressure on that enemy team, and this is exactly what you want if you're Red Reserve. Contest a little bit with 20 seconds left, but look at those red arrows. They already win that rotation towards the parking lot hill. This is going to be so tough for Rise Nation. If Red are able to get those 50 to 60 seconds that they got on the first set, they could put Rise Nation away very early on in this game. But Rise trying to win through, but Joe's able to find 2. Yeah. Great job from Red.
I think I agree with you. This is the game right here. Rise Nation have got to get through, and they need to get through early. You've got the ideal setup right now if you're Red. I know Rated drops, but he's so far pushed out, he's going to spawn deep, and there's no trouble at all. Now you get 2 kills in, but the one player that drops for Rise spawns all the way out. Red able to supplement the reinforcements here so quickly. You haven't been able to have a nice 4-man hit on the Hardpoint yet. Joe just keeps on pushing out. Now, maybe some action in the front. This could be their opportunity, but they keep getting melted as they push out. This is just like the last time. They're just funneling down that line.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do. You obviously have to start to win some gunfights. Looney there with a couple of nades. Gunless follows him up, but once again, you're staggered. There's only 2 Rise players here. Red Reserve, they have the close spawns. Gunless trying to do his best to get on in. He's able to find 3, and yeah, we've seen Gunless light up to kill feed so far, but he's only sitting at 15 and 20. Obviously, the player to watch, as you were talking about for Rise Nation, is TJ Haley. But once again, it's Red Reserve being perfect at parking lot. They're now 30 points away from winning map 1.
And one interesting stat for the Hardpoint, too, when you talk about Red, they've been outslayed in 6 Hardpoint maps, and they'd won 5 of those. So they've been able to win regardless of that slaying column, which is incredibly impressive. There haven't been a lot of teams that have been able to do that. But when you're also winning that slaying battle, this is what the scoreline looks like. Red way out in front, up 100. Rise Nation have got to muster up something here, or this is going to be a game 1 blowout.
Yeah, just once again, we talked about sort of those streaks. Gunless and Slasher were so close at that Restaurant hill, but they get shut down. If you have those at that parking lot hill, that's a chance for you to get right back into the game. Instead, we talked about, I think it's about 100 to 0 so far on parking lot for Red Reserve. That's really been the key hill for them. Rise Nation doing a pretty good job here at Lookout Post, but Red Reserve, no. They just have to play this rotation to Restaurant smart, and they can close this game out.
Let's see if Rise can somehow muster some late game magic. But yeah, you talked about the hold previously in Restaurant. They're set up inside again and only need 29 points to close this out. Gunless's POV right now is they're trying to find the entry. Hardpoint now transitions inside. Looney, almost 2 big ones in the back, but Joe able to trade out the kill. Now the pressure coming in from Gunless. First down, second down. Top red gets cleared by TJ Haley, and now Gunless getting close to streaks as well. I know the comeback looks not impossible, but if Gunless can get some streaks and you can lock down Restaurant and the spawns for next, this is where it begins, Joe.
Yeah, it definitely does. This is their fight back. Is Gunless able to get that glide bomb? Can he find that fighter pilot and artillery? We're probably going to see a Winery hill. So we'll see then. Can Rise Nation take it to a parking lot where those streaks will be so important? They may even have to hold on there. As Red Reserve, they're trying to fight on in. The contest back and forth. Gunless, though, playing so patiently. He knows he just needs 1 more kill, but he has to contest because Red Reserve, they get this time, they're going to be so close to closing out this map.
Absolutely. This time is incredibly massive. Yes, you get the streaks for Gunless, but during this, you've got 10 or so points for Red Reserve. Now he's going to swarm on in, and he got the streaks. He's able to take the one-on-one gunfight, and they've still managed to hold spawns. That's a nice kill from Slasher, I guess, to at least make sure a couple more points don't go to Red, but they're going to invest these streaks early. So Glide Bomb in, what can he find? Able to pick up Joe, who is the most forward player from this Red Reserve side. They're set up again, but the recipe for success from Red has been their aggressive play from the front. They've been able to break through time and time again. Rise have got to hold perfectly here.
Yep, you already saw Joe was able to find TJ, and that allows Joe to get into that shed, and there we go. He's going to contest that hill. I love that play right there from Red Reserve. They throw that smoke down, cut off that sightline. Zero gets in, but the trades go in the way of Rise Nation. But the one good thing here for Red Reserve is you invested into that artillery, which is so big on a hill-like parking lot.
Yeah, that's what could, delay them in the hard point for you to get in position to actually make a play on it. Red has been so good at parking lot. They have locked it down magnificently throughout this. TJ, though, he could play spoiler here. Can he win this gunfight with Joe? Trying to pre-fire, hasn't been able to take him down yet. TJ's got to stay up, though. He's the man in a position to make a play, but none other than Zero comes through with two big ones. Now 242 to 216. We'll get to the next hard point.
Yeah, the fighter pilot. Yeah, he's got to go now. I don't even know if he's going to get him out in time. Finally, that player gets out. Looney, the only player from Rise Nation there, rated, trying to soak up some time. Here we go. Looney versus Joe. Joe wins it. Map number 1, going to go to Red Reserve.
Oh, that 1v1. If Looney takes it, maybe there's a chance for Rise, but they go down too big, too early, and Red able to keep control over the course of that game. But wow, how good did Red look just from the opening moments, Joe?
No, yeah, they definitely did. I mean, the first Winery Hill, yeah, it goes the way of Rise Nation. They have about a 30-point lead. But once you go to that first parking lot hill, they do such a good job. They win that rotation over to the lookout post, and they don't look back from there.
And remember, this is a matchup we saw, the grand final all the way back in Atlanta, but this is a different team now that you have on Red. I know the recipe for success for them in Hardpoint at times, back then and even now, has been the ability to win games even when you're getting outslayed. But I guess the difference for me is you have the ability to push beyond that, just with having Scraps on this roster now. He adds like a third dimension to this team that just allows them to hang with North America's best, and you saw it there on map 1. I know it looks close on the scoreboard, but I think it's like less telling than that. Like, that was much more of a blowout in my eyes.
No, it definitely was. Yeah, I mean, Rise Nation tried fighting back Gunless, though. We talked about it. He had to invest in that artillery due to the pressure from Joe and Scraps early on through the front of that Winery Hill, which they did time and time again. It felt like Red Reserve, they weren't even worried about rotating the Winery. They made sure they got the scrap time at Restaurant, and then they just hit the front of Winery. And I love that smoke strat that they were able to use. We saw how annoying it can be for guys like Gunless and Slasher.
Well, game 1 to Red. Search and Destroy will be up next, and well, to be fair, both of these teams have been superb in that game mode. You've seen a lot of success. It was like 6-2 in the league for Red Reserve. You only dropped 1 Search in the league if you're on the side of Rise Nation, so they've both been stellar in that mode. And there's a lot of superstars here in Search. We've seen, like that 19-6 performance on London Docks that you saw from a guy like Rated. We know what TJ Haley is capable of. When Gunless is in form, we know the numbers that he can drop. This should be a shootout. But I kind of mentioned 2 players on the side of Rise. We're talking about Search, Gunless and TJ. Who's going to be the guy on Red to maybe kind of have to work with Rated to really put up numbers here against Rise to get a victory?
I think it's Scraps. I think Scraps is that guy to work with Rated. I mean, yeah, Zero's been having a great event, but he's really the X factor. If you want that consistent number 2, I think it's Scraps. But, as you talked about Gunless and TJ, I think one good thing for Rise Nation is that map number 1 performance from TJ was spectacular. He was really that one guy, that SMG on that St. Marie Dumont hardpoint that was putting up numbers. If he's able to take those 1v1s, which we know he loves to take in Search and Destroy, he can open up so much of the map here on Valkyrie.
Valkyrie coming up next. And this has been, we talk about how impressive a weekend this has been for European teams. I can't think back to the last time where you had, 3 teams kind of coming into bracket play. Teams making deep runs to the winner's bracket final like Red are able to do now. You just saw what Unilab were capable in that Game 5 stunner over Optic Gaming. This has been a fantastic bounce back open event considering how poor Europe were at Seattle. They were abysmal at Seattle. I know I'm lumping Europe into one here kind of, but all the teams really struggled at that event. Now you see the fire they're bringing here.
And Splice was 1 match away, 1 map away from being top 8 as well. So you could have had Splice, Red Reserve, and Unilad within that top 8. Definitely a good sign for Europe, but I think everybody's just impressed so far by Unilad and their top 4 placing, as I believe they're going to take on Luminosity. as they were able to take out FaZe Clan. But here we go, round number 1 on this map number 2.
And I desperately want Red Reserve versus Unilad at some point. Whether it's a grand final, whether it's a losers bracket final, that'd just be pure comedy just for the Twins alone. Well, let's get focused now on this round 1. First blood gonna go to Zero. His dream event continues. And this has just gotta be such a feel-good event for Zero. Like, it's gotta be weird. Have you ever gone from, like, I don't know, being considered like that MVP superstar and then the following year struggling a little bit?
I mean, we even saw last year after his MVP performance. He's such a confidence player where
That's true.
It just went away. Around Champs time, something happened. Something within the team was just off. Well, Zero, he's working on the ace. He's able to find 3. Can he win this last 1v1 versus Looney? He's hunting him down. This is for the ace. Not able to do so. Just runs out of bullets, but hold on. Looney in a 1v1 with Rated, trying to shoulder peek, but Rated able to take him down.
Zero, such a big round there. 3 kills and probably needed 1 more in the clip maybe to pick up that ace. Rated, you see him able to finish it there and get Red on the board first. And when you're playing against a team like Rise, man, you get an early lead, you go up 1-0, you just have to keep burying them. Don't let them linger around. Don't make this an extended series. I mean, I think we agree this is likely going 4 or 5 games, but the faster you can put them away, because there are times we've seen Rise just hit form middle of a series and start dominating.
Yeah, we'll see if Red Reserve's able to do it, but yes, I agree. I think there's a lot of North American juggernaut teams where you give them 1 map and they can turn it around. Red Reserve, they're going to hit this B site and they're going to find out that it is wide open. The only player from Red towards that left side of the map is going to be Rated, so he might be working a late flank or just watching that late flank, but it's going to be on Rise Nation to try and retake this B bomb site in a 4 versus 4.
Scraps. Trying to find an opening, but Slasher that is going to find the first blood. So they turn this into a 4-on-3 retake. That player mid-street Rated is going to be huge. He can see the crosshair. If he can pick up this kill from the front and not allow TJ to get aggressive, it'd be so big. He starts to lob the grenade, gets the headshot in, and that's at least 1 lane that's been nullified. But Slasher finds his 2nd kill in the round at the same time. Slasher finds his 3rd. Slasher now working on the ace. Rated's going to get dropped. All 4 are cleared, and that's a defuse for Rise Nation. I mean, we casted a search like this yesterday, right? Where it was like just 3 pieces coming through, players going big in every round to find the victory. In round 1, it's Zero finding 3. Here in round 2, it's Slasher going big with 3 of his own.
But it's always that first kill. We just saw it with Octakimi and Unilad. If you're going to give up a bomb site and retake it, it comes down to that first blood. And Zero was taken down. He was the guy with a forward position inside that B site. He doesn't trade anything. He's not able to make it a 3 versus 3 for his team. And instead, it's a 4v3 for Rise Nation. They play their numbers correctly. A great retake from them.
Well, let's see what Rise can do on offense. We'll keep an eye on the bottom right, too, for Slasher when we're on with him, because he's still got ways to go towards streaks, but 450 out of 700 early in this game, too. Scraps now, holding the edge, gets a shot in, and goes ahead and backs down. There's a quick rotation in from multiple players on the Red Reserve side. They feel the presence here at B. TJ's able to get across, and Scraps spots it, but TJ's able to win that gunfight, so now Scraps in a world of hurt. His first reinforcement's going to be taken out. The grenade's not going to connect. Rated though, 2nd man up to try and give some support here. Him and Scraps have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, the one good thing here for Red Reserve is the bomb is not down yet. They were able to get some rotation, so if Rated can find a pick, make this a 3 versus 3, there's a good chance Red Reserve can retake the bomb. But you can see, is Rise Nation going to try and rotate this one out? It seems like they're so worried about the flank. You can see Gunless inside storage, just making sure nobody from Red pushes up. I mean, they've been here for a minute now, and there's still no bomb down, and there we go. Rated able to find that kill.
TJ's going to peek in. He gets Rated before he gets dropped from the back. I think it was Zero that was going to have the angle. Zero does trade it out. Now it's going to be Gunless in a 1v2. The slow offense from Rise Nation gets punished by Rated and Red Reserve. Now just over 10 seconds on the clock. Gunless has got to go. He's got to try and hunt for these kills. Give yourself a chance to win this round. Time is dwindling. 1 wrap to the flank. He's already been tagged up, and Rise lose a round that, I mean, you feel they should have won.
I mean, they get the first blood. They had positioning. You had Looney and TJ pushed up towards that Red Reserve base, but the bomb just wasn't planted. I'm not sure the decision making there. They were so focused on the flank. I thought they thought someone was just going to push through from Red. Instead, they just regroup. And yeah, we talked about Zero. Those are his stats so far. 1.46 in CTF, 1.11 in S&D. He's having a great event.
Yeah, some of those padded, but what do you have? He had a 14 streak, like a 19 streak. He's had a couple just monster games in CTF where he is absolutely taken over. But speaking of taking over, Red Reserve. Now, Reserve. I've got the lead in this game, up 2-1. And they're starting to push towards this A site. There is no presence on defense inside of the site. It's really just going to be Looney and Gunless kind of lurking on that back street.
Yeah, so once again, Rise Nation, they're going to have to retake a bomb site. Nate goes in. Looney trying to find a kill on a Rated or Joe, but just backs him down. Wow, nice pre-fire by Slasher. Makes Zero so weak. Finally able to get him. That's a nice first blood. This is the same thing we saw in that last defensive round in that retake with Slasher on to Zero.
Absolutely different sites, but same result. Can Slasher continue to find picks throughout the course of this? The collapse gonna have to build here. Under 30 seconds to go. Looney tagged up. It's Gunless on the upside. Gunless actually finds two. Now it's gonna be the Swarm that comes in. Rated, no chance there. And again, the retake works well for Rise. And it must be frustrating because if you're Red, you know, you're getting a plant down with 4 up. Rise just making it look easy as they take the site back.
It's a first kill, and once again it was on Zero. Zero, though, was making sure nobody was going on a flank. Instead, though, Slasher just pieced him from up top, had a nice pre-fire, put a nice nade in there. But it's interesting, you know, the way Rise is playing on defense. They're giving up sites, allowing those bombs to go down. Just so much trust in their teamwork in those 4v4 retakes.
All tied up yet again. Offense back to Rise Nation. Last time we saw them hit the B site, get the first pick, and then not really do anything with it. Curious to see maybe what they change up this time, because it's going to be the same thing. You have an early presence here from a second player, though. It doesn't need to be a rotation across. There are multiple players here to deal with this. You have Scraps, and I believe Joe already in position.
Rated's already there as well.
Yep.
So Rise Nation, they're in a very tough spot. You can see TJ and Looney basically, you know, cuddling right there. You have Slasher and Gunless in the window. Do they decide to wrap back?
Yep.
It's looking like they're going to do that. So they still have time, 55 seconds left in the round. But Red Reserve are going to know something's up. The one thing that Rise has done is they kept Looney there. They've kept some presence at B. I like that play.
Yeah, it's having fire his gun a little bit, right? Just be a distraction, make them think there's a presence here. And he's been able to keep 2 players there. So on the other side of the map, you kind of have a 3-on-1 with Zero right now. I know Rated's tucked away in the back, but you really have a 3-on-1 if they can push this in. Just make sure they trade it out. Zero can't take the first gunfight. Now the site's been opened up. Gunless wins another one, and Looney's still lurking. He should be able to catch Joe as he comes across. They're not gonna be ready for this. Well, Joe does check it, not gonna matter. Last man gonna be Scraps. And this was an excellent offensive round from Rise Nation.
Yeah, they recognized the situation. They saw the nades come in. I mean, if Red Reserve were able to find a nade kill right there, maybe that changes things up. But I'm honestly surprised. I mean, yes, Rise were there for a very long time, but the rotations were pretty late. At that point, I think Zero gets out of the site. I think you take a 4v4 retake over that happening. And once again, it was TJ who opened up that site up in a 1 versus 1.
And a big part of it, I just don't know, they didn't really have any information. Once they wrap back, they just weren't really sure what the hit was.
Just get together, retake it. That's what Rise did to them.
It's exactly what Rise has done. I'm curious if we see the same thing here. What can Red do to maybe, I don't know, prevent these 4-man retakes that Rise keep doing?
I mean, it's tough because, once again, it comes down to the first kill. I think that's so important, but if you're Red, you take the bomb plan. If they're going to give it to you, that puts you in an advantageous position. But 2 of the things that really stick out to me are Joe at 0-5, Scraps at 1-4. Those are your 2 sub players, or they can be. If they're losing those 1v1s to TJ, that's an issue.
Well, here we go yet again. Bomb planted in a 4v4. It has been Slasher. Both times this has happened that has found the opening pick. Can he do it again? He's tagged up immediately by Rated. He's able to push him back. So you don't get that early first pick this time around. 30 seconds now on the clock. There is a 1-on-1 gunfight going down with TJ Haley. He's trying to push the action, but not sure what direction Joe headed. Now we spot him. It's Slasher again. Yep. So yet again, Slasher able to get the pick, and they're starting to fall apart. It's going to be Zero now left alone. He is killed, and 3 times in a row, Red get it planted. Slasher finds the pick, and they get the defuse.
Yeah,
this is
Slasher
insane.
has 3 first bloods, all from these 3 retakes. 2 on Zero, 1 right there on a player from Red. I wasn't sure who it was, but whatever he's doing with the STG, he's playing so smart.
I think it's just one of those things where they trust him to take any 1-on-1 fight, whether it's with Rated, Scraps, whoever it is. Get him in a position where he's in a 1-on-1 gunfight. They know he can win it. And as long as he keeps winning it, Red's going to be in a lot of trouble in these post-plant spots.
They definitely are. As Rise Nation, they take a 4-2 lead. Once again, you have Joe 0-6 right now, Scraps at 1-5. You need those 2 players to step up if you're Red. And Rise, it's looking like it's going to be a slow A setup. Try to find maybe that first blood inside that bomb site and then collapse with on in. We'll see now. What can Looney and Gunless find?
Both teams playing so patiently here in round 7. It looks like, okay, so he's going to get that stun out, which will probably delay Scraps from trying to push in on the flank, but Slasher has to be wary of that. Also keeping eyes in towards ventilation room. Time continues to dwindle. They haven't been able to find an opening yet, so he is going to change position now. So there is an opening for Scraps.
So you wait for Slasher. You just wait for Slasher. And he doesn't peek to his left. He would have found a kill. There's one on a rated, another first blood. But yeah, Slasher's behind him. You still have 2 players inside for Red. That 0 has a nice position right there. But here comes a collapse. Slasher gets behind him, able to find one, make it 2. Now a 1 versus 4 for Scraps.
Scraps in such a tough spot, and TJ able to clean him up. I mean, I think what stands out, obviously, Slasher has been a monster in finding these opening kills, but also just the patience from Rise Nation. Like, it's almost like they're not worrying about the clock so much. They're just worried about finding that first pick. Regardless of the time remaining, they're going to make it work. Whereas some teams, might start to panic a little bit. Hey, we have to make a move. We have to hit something. They're just being so patient behind these first bloods.
And really the reason is there was 1 player from Red Reserve on that B site, but he stayed there because the previous 2 rounds, that's where Rise Nation went. Instead, what that opens up, it allows Slasher to hit that middle of the street and get behind the enemy line. So a great round from Rise. But once again, look at what they're doing. They're going to give up the plant. It's going to be the same old story, that 4 versus 4 retake inside A.
Well, I think we have to stick with Slasher. I think he's earned it at this point with the fact that he keeps finding those kills. Can he do it a 4th time? And in this game too, nope, it's going to be Joe. So for the first time, they're going to have a 4-on-3 advantage. What can Red do with it? Can they close out the round? Joe's able to find another. Slasher is taken out. It's all going to be on Gunless and Looney here to make a play. Gunless hits the edge. The stun comes in though, and he can't take the gunfight. So Looney 1v3, flanked. Finally, Red able to find that first blood from the post plant.
And it's from a very important player in Joe. He's able to pick up 2. Before this round, Joe 0-7. He's able to find 3 right there, and it's really just the first blood that we talked about time and time again in those retake situations. So great job from Joe, a big round from him. Now 5-3, and you can see S&D is where he's been very impressive so far.
Yeah, that stat sticks out massively, 1.29 in search. With him turning it around, maybe that's how you claw back into this and force it to around 11, but we still have a ways to go. Round by round, we'll see if Red can do it. We'll stick with Joe as he had a big round previously from 0-7 to 3-7. Got to be huge for his confidence here. But once again, it's going to be Rise Nation trying to hit towards this B site. And the patience again from Rise, man.
Yeah, they're just here. And maybe they rotate on through. Maybe it's the same thing where they start B. You can see there's 3 players from Red Reserve towards that B site. There's going to be some engagements. That 1 player, literally, he finds an opening. There's a trade, though, from Scraps. Now a 3 versus 3. Still a lot of time for Rise Nation to work with, but it looks like they're going to potentially move up that middle of the site. It's going to be TJ versus 0. You can see TJ starting to creep on through. There we go. TJ able to win that. Now a 2v3. Rated the only player on that A bomb site. Can he find anything for his team? Able to find the first one on Slasher.
It's all on Scraps now. Scraps versus TJ Haley. Can Scraps extend this game too? Scraps, the EU Phenom versus the Iceman here. TJ spots him and he's able to win it. There it is. We've got ourselves a 1-1 series. Rise Nation were methodical in that game 2 search.
No, they definitely were. It was very impressive to see. And we haven't seen that playstyle too often from those guys. So maybe they've watched some Red Reserve gameplay. They know how they like to, play that map, and they've found a way to counter it. So a great game too from Rise Nation.
Slasher incredibly impressive in that one as he continued to find opening pick after opening pick, especially from the defense when they had to go in for the defuse. That's going to tie up our series at 1 apiece. Still a lot to go in this best of 5. The CTF, the swing game, going to be crucial here. We've got the top team from Division A, the top team from the Division B. This is the winner's bracket final, playing for a chance to be in the grand final. $200,000 on the line. We'll be right back.
Keep a little cozy corner in your heart for me.
They were the toughest, baddest squad on and off the field. Neither tank, nor sniper, nor minefield could take them down. They had names like Classic, Decimate, Hook, Chino, and Jack.
Guys, is it just me, or does that seem like a lot of explosions? I mean, I know we're going for this whole epic walk thing, but... Oh, we should have worn earplugs.
Welcome back. It is the winner's bracket final. We've got, again, the top teams from Stage 2, Rise Nation and Red Reserve. And we've got a great best of 5, all tied up, headed to the CTF. And Joe, it's anybody's series.
No, it definitely is. Obviously, it's kind of a tale of two maps, or map number 1, it was all Red Reserve. They just controlled it right from the start. Had a great couple of holds at parking lot. I don't even think Rise Nation got a second there if you missed that Hardpoint. Game 2, it was Rise Nation and their retake ability. A lot of pressure, well, not a lot of pressure, a lot of great plays out of Slasher as he was able to find a couple of openings. He made it look easy.
Well, we'll see who can take the CTF and start to get a bit of control in this series. You know, talking about Rise Nation when it comes to CTF, they've been, regardless of what the roster was, they were so good for such a long period of time, but they came into Stage 2, and that's where they really struggled. They dropped 4 CTFs. They started with very vulnerable in that particular mode. Maybe something Red Reserve can capitalize on.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. As game number 3, we're loading on into it now. We'll see who's going to take this swing map. Who's going to go up 2-1 in the series. Gonna hop on board with TJ.
Not looking good early here for Red. Joe immediately has to retreat as TJ continues to push. 4 dead, flying in. Looney gets the touch. 2 players have now spawned up front Red Reserve. He's able to get to the corner. Oh my God, Scraps is going huge. Scraps almost wins another one. Gunless, can he actually get to the flag? He hasn't been able to because Rated is here. Scraps is an absolute hero in this one. He delays the push, but there is still a presence from Rise.
And that's what we saw earlier today when they played Luminosity this morning. Scraps did such a wonderful job on this one. He won a couple of key gunfights that allowed him to capture some flags. Able to find 3 right there. A huge defensive play from him.
He loses one of those gunfights, and that's the score for Rise.
Yep.
That was absolutely huge, and that's a big part of the reason he's been added to this dynamic Red Reserve roster. Now let's see if they can, well, I was going to say kill the pressure going forward behind 0, but he catches a nade pretty quickly.
And once again, Red Reserve, they're stuck back in their base. Looney not able to find that second one on a Rated. Nice trade from him. But this has been map control, all Rise Nation. Nice shots out of Gunless right there. Going to back down that player. That's Joe. He didn't have the best game number 2, but we'll see if he can turn it around. Slasher now holding this left side. He gets taken down by Rated. Finally, maybe Red Reserve can get out of their base.
They have to worry about TJ, though, who's continuing to lurk mid-map. You have Gunless here as well. They start to push out, but they run into basically the pre-aim players of Rise. 3 players now down for Red Reserve. 0 might have to be the hero, not able to pull off what Scraps did earlier, but hey, Scraps is still up. He's trying to make the play. Here's Looney coming from behind. Can he chase him? He hasn't been able to get into a position yet, but it's going to be Joe on the other side who might be able to stop it. The kill comes in, but it's a second too late. Perhaps the counter's alive, but nope, Gunless there for both kills. So Rise, they strike first.
Yeah, and Scraps once again found 2 kills in the middle of the map, but Gunless right now, he's sitting at 8-2. Finally gets taken down by 0. He didn't expect him to be on that outskirts. Nice shots out of Slasher, but Zero able to take him down. But Gunless having a great game number 3, sitting at 8-3 to start. You'd love to see that if you're a Rise fan.
TJ lurking here towards the Red Reserve base, looking for a one-on-one fight to take, but Zero guns him as he comes off spawn. And on the other end, it's going to be Joe who's able to get a touch, so that's going to make all those yellow arrows focus back to deal with him. He gets 1 kill with the grenade, but 2 more players there. Zero gets involved in the action, but not before Joe drops. And I like this, just leave the flag there, let your respawners deal with it, get into a position mid-map where you can continue to apply pressure to Red Reserve off spawn.
Which they've been doing this entire time. That was really the first attack we've seen from Red Reserve, and it was off of a counter. TJ and Slasher there find some kills. TJ gets traded out, but here comes Gunless. Wow, nice shots out of Zero as he finds 2. That was a little turn and burn action from him.
Zero and Scraps have had some moments already in this game that if they didn't make those plays, the score could be even scarier right now for Rise.
And Zero found a 3rd as well. He's sitting at 10-6, but Looney still in the base of red, and you see that as soon as that happens, those red arrows have to turn around. No, it's a 1 versus 1. Scraps once again holding the base.
Scraps will fall, but delays long enough for Joe and Rated to pop. But once again, the story has just been, other than Joe kind of sneaking through the cracks at one point, Red Reserve has been pinned forever, it seems. They need to find that second wave of kills. You know, you've been able to clear out the base behind some great performances from Scraps or Zero, but when can you actually get some mid-map control? There's a 2-on-2 right now. TG's able to win the first. Rated, though, finds both kills. And again, a big defensive stand that could have gotten scary if someone didn't go huge for Red.
Yeah, that's a good sign, though, for Red Reserve. I mean, Rated and Joe having a bit of a slow start, and that was really the tale of the Search and Destroy. It was a couple of guys having slow games. They need all 4 players to turn it on. Because look at the Rise Nation side. You have everybody with 8 kills, Gunless with 13. Just team balance for everybody, right? The slaying power is there from everyone. You need Red Reserve to step it up in that category.
Joe getting shot in the back, but then 180s on a Looney who gets caught tossing a nade. TJ able to make a difference, but Zero, he's in behind enemy lines. He's able to pick up TJ. Now you have to deal with Slasher and Looney who just came on spawn. Slasher is able to win the first. Scraps will drop, but look at this. At least you have, you have Rated and you have Joe, who are positioned up towards the mid-map side of Rise Nation's base. At least for a moment here, and with no time really to go, you finally put Rise Nation on their back foot.
Yeah, and that was a 1-on-1 that Gunless was able to take. If Joe wins that one, maybe they go for a flagpole. I think Rated is just trying to play for streaks, but Gunless not missing right now. He's at 15-7. Having a great first half.
That's one you'd like to win. You know, Gunless sub in hand. You have the AR there. I know it's a difficult angle once Gunless backs up, but you go into the half with 5 kills in a row, getting close to streaks. Maybe you start off hot, and then you can find that and get a little bit of momentum, get a tiny score to come through.
I think the one good thing for Red Reserve, they're only down 1 because the pressure has been on their base the entire time. The slaying not going their way. It's been a couple of key moments on the defensive end for them that have kept it close.
It just feels like, I know CTF and Search obviously very different, but it just felt like Rise was kind of choking out Red in the Search with their patience, and now they're doing this the same in a way, just with their map control, just choking out Red, not allowing them to have a lot of fun in this one, a lot of offense at the very least. Can Red come out hot now in this second half? Rated definitely got it going. He only has 6 kills, but he certainly turned it around with 4 in a row there down the tail end of the first half. TJ, though, once again, just like in the first half, flying forward, pushing players back. Scraps, so I love that. Just goes back, gets prone, pops, and finds the kill.
Yep, plays a little patiently, but guess what? Red Reserve stuck in their base. Gunless able to find one. No Scraps is nearby. Aimer up. Scraps, so able to take that one. On the other end, you have Slasher versus Rated. Rated able to finally win that 1 versus 1. Now Red Reserve starting to get some map control on the right side of that mini-map. But Looney still being here, still being annoying, and you can see they're trying to find him. They're checking every corner. The comms are all right now for Red Reserve. Finally, they find him.
Here we go. This is a great chance. Great chance. 3 down. Slasher going to be the only one up. Slasher able to win the first, though. Rated's going to drop. He's still in the back line. Joe, Scraps, and Zero trying to get this hit. Scrap trying to go big, but can't get away with his life. Slasher gets the first kill and the final one to kind of close it down. I know Zero is still here, but he's got a lot to do. And so far, he seems he might be able to do it. He beams 3. Zero going off right now. His help comes in and Rated, but he drops. TJ's grenade also cleans up Zero. You felt like maybe that was the moment.
Yeah, maybe so, but TJ, he finds his 3rd. He's sitting at 13-12. Scraps is still here, though. Can he make Rise Nation turn around? Makes Gunless turn around, and Gunless isn't missing. He's at 19 and 10. As Rise Nation, they once again find themselves on the attack. But Rated, watch that number 7 arrow. He's already pushed up. He's already towards the low gun. He might go for a flagpole right now. Scraps is able to win one as well. And there we go, flags away. Can Scraps hold on? If he's able to do this, wait for those respawns to come in, they can tie this one up. And you can see Scraps trying to find those Rise Nation players.
Only one really remaining. Slasher and Looney here. Looney wins the first, and he does come in. Rated wins a big one. The return will come through, and there's going to be the tying score and streaks for Rated. He's got a glide bomb to work with. Can't get any more, but there's a counterattack opportunity. Gunless gets 2 kills as soon as that goes through. TJ grabs the flag. Things falling apart. Scraps not able to be the hero yet again, and that's going to be a counterattack for Rise Nation. Look at the overextension coming in and the use of the glide bomb here, Joe.
Yeah, glide bomb coming on in. Should be able to find Gunless. Gunless gets inside. He's able to stay alive. Now it's on Zero. Zero not able to win that 1 versus 1, and the counter is perfect from Rise.
That's devastating. That is devastating. You have your one great offensive attack from Red. I know it comes kind of on a sneak play and on relying on your defense to hold, but the fact that counter comes in just instantly behind that 2-piece of Gunless opening it up, that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it was off 1 sneak play, right? Rated, able to push up the left side of the map. Wins that 1 versus 1. Scraps able to lock down the base, but then Gunless and Co just come on through. That duo of him and TJ able to have that counter play for him, and now you have streaks from Gunless. This gets scary.
It's like to add insult to injury.
Oh boy.
To add insult to injury, you know, you get the 1 streak for Rated, he invests it, and Gunless counters with a streak of his own. He's able to pick it up, trying to find Joe in the back. He's able to connect. They have a 4-on-3 here, and you've earned the artillery.
Looney still staying alive here. TJ trying to get away with that flag, but he's being chased by Scraps, and Scraps chase him down. Only has a pistol, not able to do so, but he might have slowed it down. On the other side of the map, you have Rated, who's able to get that flag out, and here we go, a counter opportunity for Rise Nation. You still have an artillery for Gunless to use. There's 80 seconds left in this one. He might have to invest in it, but they just stayed alive. They've not allowed that flag return to come on through, but here comes Scraps and Zero.
It's all on Slasher. Slasher's got to win both these gunfights. Can't do it. There is the return. There's the tying score. It's 2-2 with 60 seconds remaining here on map 3, and Scraps starting to push up towards the Rise Nation base. He's going to get cleaned up almost immediately. But for once, you know, it's starting to feel like there's some offense developing here from Red Reserve. They've been able to pin Rise Nation multiple times. And that bit of a standoff, that stalemate, it goes their way.
Definitely does. Some heads-up plays really from both teams. You know, Rise Nation, they realize the situation. They know the flag's away. They just try to hold on off, but Rated really that key guy. 12 and 16, yes, but he has the 2 flag caps, really the 2 plays that have got that flags out, and it comes off the sneak. So Rise Nation have to make sure they're finding all 4 of these players.
Gunless to dodge the day, just flies out the window. Oh, almost a nice 2-piece there for Scraps at mid-map. But now, with 20 seconds remaining in regulation, maybe a last second here to get a touch for Rise Nation. They're starting to get into position, but they've got to go. TJ does get an opening kill, under 10 seconds here. TJ trying to make the play. Gunless tries to dive across. Now we get the touch. There's a one-on-one here. There's a one-on-one. Oh my God, if you get one more bullet in there, maybe TJ can bring some magic. But look at this, they're gonna leave it up. They're gonna go across and take their chance here in OT.
Yep, so Rated, you know, he get towards that top gun. Able to find one. Oh, not able to finish off Gunless right there. He's able to find one on the TJ. Once again, Rated that key guy for Red Reserve, and here we go. The pressure on Rise Nation. Looney, though, able to shut that down. Joe, the last player left. And, well, we're going to head into overtime.
Wow, what a comeback there from Red. You know, you talk about the opening 5 minutes to that, how difficult it was for them to really get anything going, but in the final moments, they tie it up.
Yeah, I mean, you have Joe, who's basically double negative. You have Rated, who's negative. I mean, they are being outslayed, and once again, they've given themselves an opportunity to take this map number 3.
Shot of the Rise Nation, guys. They're talking it through. They know they let one kind of slip through their grasp. You still have that artillery on Gunless. Let's take a look at the first side of overtime. On with TJ Haley, who's been a presence in the opening of these rounds.
Let's see, finally, Rated, able to open one up. He gets his second as well, though. It's TJ. He's getting pushed up. Can he find the second? He can. Nice shots on the Scraps. TJ in such a good zone right now. Had a great map number 1. Yes, they ended up losing it, but then he takes it to map 2 where he wins so many 1 versus 1s and has been a terror to deal with on this flag tower.
A couple kills now. Going the way of Rise Nation. Rated though, this flank could be so big. You love the trigger discipline there. He picks up the first, takes a second onto Slasher. That is a huge play from Rated. Now the last member of the back line will be Looney. You gotta love that from Rated.
No, you do, and really we haven't pointed it out, but Rated actually pulls out that submachine gun. They're running 4 subs right now. You know, on the side of Rise Nation, you still have 1 AR. But Red Reserve are just trying to take it to him with that pressure. So Rated pulls out that 4th SMG. Well, he was able to find 2 flag captures. Now Scraps with a pistol. He finds 3 in a row, but Gunless and TJ are here. This is Red Reserve's chance though, but those 2 able to lock it down. The spawns come in. Now it's 0, so he can't find the second. Slasher finds both. Good defensive hold right there from
It
Rise.
just feels like with all the superstars in this matchup, like what guy's gonna go off and kill 3 in a base to make the play? Just so much talent, top to bottom. On with TJ now. Pressure in for Rise. So far, though, Red up to the task. Joe and Zero. Scraps involved as well. They're able to thwart it. Now, Gunless going to be the last man here. How does he play this at mid-map? Zero.
My goodness.
Zero has been shooting rockets out of his PPSH. 3 minutes to go here in the first half of overtime. The collapse is coming in. Scraps able to get behind. Can he get behind Slasher and get the kill? Trying to get there. He's even E2. Zero's able to do it, so he's going to get the touch. Trying to get away with his life. Shots are coming in, but Rated able to pick it up. Now they're going to go through. Looney here at mid-map to try and cut this off. He's able to win the first gunfight.
Oh, nice
Trying
nade.
to chase down Scraps.
Oh, he misses.
He misses the shots, and now Joe's here to pick it up. He's on through in the first to score in OT is Red Reserve. Oh, wow, you feel like the nade from Looney looked great. You probably see it hit like 2 bullets there.
Yeah, Looney doesn't miss. He missed right there.
Oh, God, not that that was the easiest kill, but like you hit that, you got a chance. But the facts, Scraps gets across and able to take it, so now you see the clock. That is everything in this.
They still have the artillery, though.
That's true. That is true.
And I thought they were going to invest it there to stop that flagger, and they don't. So they're going to have to use it on attack now. As well, Looney and Gunless open things up, but Joe able to respond. And look at where Looney is already, but Rated with that STG, able to find 1. So now 2 minutes left. And all Red Reserve need to do is just slow down this attack. Just be annoying, just like Joe's doing right now. He's able to find 1.
Just keep them staggered, right? Just don't allow a 4-man hit to come in. I know it's harder than saying it, but just try to keep them staggered because the time is against them. All the pressure on Rise Nation here to make the play. Kills keep coming in. You see the kill feed. It's been all Red to open this up. 4 kills in a row for Joe, 2 for Scraps. Rated starting to build it as well. And Rise can't be playing out of their base if they want to take this game. You can't be thinking about an artillery needed to be used defensively. You've got to use that on a push on offense to try and get the tying score, sorry, the winning score.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing for them is to get out of their base, get Red Reserve trapped in there, and then call that artillery on one side of the map. But this is what we talked about. If Joe can continue to do this, it Scraps is right here winning these gunfights. Zero as well. They are trapping Rise Nation in. Slasher, the only player to get out. He's going to get traded out. 60 seconds left now for Rise.
This is exactly what Rise did to Red throughout the first half of regulation. Red Reserve serving up a bit of their own medicine. Scraps 5 in a row, 33 and 27. Joe dancing with multiple players out there at wood stacks, but finally will fall. A couple of kills go the way of Rise, but you still have Rated here, lurking mid-map with the PPSH. That change, was that the big difference? Having the aggressive subs, the way they're able to change the pace of the game, certainly seems to have worked out for Red.
And I love that call from him. He wasn't having the best game through with the AR. You know, Slasher was shutting him down. Slasher, he's having a solid game. So he pulls that out. He makes a couple of sneak plays. He was the reason they got that first flag. So a heads-up play right there by Rated. And you know, obviously we talk about how confident of a guy he is. He's like, all right, I'm going to pull out these 4 subs. We're going to put the pressure on. Red Reserve have played a perfect second half of overtime right here. They're going to take this map 3.
Not enough time for Rise as Red take control of the series with a big win here on Flak Tower. What a performance from Red. I think, Joe, what stands out the most is just, you know, we talked about it a lot through the first 5 minutes, like how frustrating that probably was for Red fans, Red players. Like, they were just pinned. They didn't get across like that 50-yard line very much at all. Like, kind of 2 times on sneaks was really all they were able to get going. Then they flip it on its head. They start to take over. It was a battle of attrition, but that was just a spectacular performance because I can't imagine that first 5 minutes was a whole lot of fun for Red.
No, it definitely wasn't, but once again, it was a couple of key plays out of scraps and zero. It kept that lead to just 1, which gave them that opportunity on that second half. And then Rated, he gets that sneak flag home. The counter was there out of Rise, and that's when we got a little worried because Gunless, he got some streaks, but I mean, they kept with it. Red Reserve, they put the pressure on, they take into overtime, they're able to clutch on up.
And when you have a tight game like that, it's like you can go back to just a couple plays, like you said, like that 2-piece from scraps in the beginning on defense. That doesn't happen, they likely lose the map.
Yep.
Crazy how those small moments in CTF.
And he was doing that earlier. He was doing that earlier today on the exact same map, you know, against Luminosity, who, by the way, Luminosity, I believe, just went up 2-0 on Unilat on our Bravo stream. So LG, they are rolling today.
Unbelievable. They look so shaky throughout stage 2, but how quickly LG have been improving. And, you know, back to talking about this matchup with Red and Rise. You know, last time they faced off in the Atlanta Grand Final, you know, that was the time when Red had to do that crazy losers bracket run. Remember, they had to battle through everybody to get there. They're probably exhausted by the time they get to the Grand Final. Finally, for the first time since Dallas, Red is able to come out top 2. They play through the winners bracket, they're playing on the main stage, they're fresh, they're feeling good, and you're seeing a different team in this matchup. And yes, it also helps to have that man on your screen.
Yeah, Scraps playing so well throughout this tournament. You know, he just brings a different vibe to this team. They continue to talk about it. They had to make a couple of key mistakes, you know. There wasn't too many issues. You know, he had some comm problems, but they were able to fix that. And, well, since then, they have been rolling. And, yeah, that's the big difference for me. They're doing it through the winners bracket. Someone's going to have to beat them twice if they're able to get to a grand final.
If they can do it. They still need one more map. We'll head into a hard point next. We'll see if Red can close it out or Rise can push this to a 5th and final map. You kind of feel like it's headed that way. You know, the last series we had, such an absurd one there with Optic Gaming and Unilad. You'd love another treat here in the winner's bracket final, and I guess you'd be feeling pretty good if you're Rise, depending on, well, going with how that first search went, but Red, no slouches themselves, that's for sure.
Now we're going to go to an Arden Forest Hardpoint, and well, the first thing that sticks out to me, the AR battles, right? You're going to have Joe and Rated trying to deal with Gunless and Slasher. That is that's a tough feat.
And this is, you know, we talk about the map, you know, kind of takeover ability of someone like Gunless. This is a map where if he's in form, he can absolutely take over, just individually dominate. Raid is another guy, we mentioned that though. He has that same ability at times, just get hot and dominate. Will that be the story here? Which one of these fantastic ARs starts to take over? We've yet to get free tacos this weekend. We thought we were gonna have so many, Joe, so many 100-point clubs. It usually is pretty common kind of on the Alpha stream. We never got there. I still don't think this is a matchup it's gonna happen in with Red and Rise, but yeah, there's still chances.
You have what? You know what, the loser's final after that, the grand final.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see a 100-point club.
All right, well, let's get into it. Map 4. And remember, this is not an elimination match. Loser dropping into loser's bracket, they'll live to see another day, can still battle back to the grand final, but you always want to have those 2 best-of-5s to play with if you're able to take this winner's bracket final. Early control in cave for Rise Nation. It's going to be Looney that's set up inside. But Scraps, just the playmaking ability he has, kills all 3 players, pushes them out to back bunker, and just like that, Red Reserve in the hardpoint.
Yep, they have a great setup. You see the nades coming in from Rise Nation. They're able to smoke that off, but you have to deal with Zero inside of Fire Alley. So tough to deal with. Slasher, though, he gets peeked. The nade lands, but Slasher still able to win that with 15 seconds left. This is scrap time, getting the other way of Red Reserve, but you already have Raiden and Scraps inside these ruins area. A couple of key gunfights going down right now. If Red Reserve are able to win this rotation as well, it's gonna be so big for them. Raiden still up here, able to find 2 nice shots while being stunned, and you have Scraps inside you. So a great rotation from Red.
Fantastic, and you know, Rise weren't able to combine those nades to clear him out, and Raiden goes huge from the power position. Mid-map, it's Scraps trying to do whatever damage he can. Raiden's still going to be set up top. Until they can clear him out of this position, it's going to be so hard to break. They're not even getting to him right now because Joe and Zero, the super subs at mid-map, are dominating the front line of Rise. Oh, hell, and the back line. They just smoked them.
Yep, TJ though. TJ is on point, I will have to say. A couple of one-on-ones that he's winning are so important. Joe though, heads up play, recognize that the spawn situation could come in for Rise Nation where they do split. Looney though, do they know he's behind him? Yep, Scraps, he's gonna pick him up. They're gonna get this time. And what a start. Never mind, TJ's able to find 3. Similar to Scraps, it's TJ on the other side. But Red Reserve, they win the rotation. A bunker, Zero makes the heads up play, rotates off spawn. A 40-point lead already for Red.
And one good thing for Rise, you're able to clear out Joe. He was getting pretty close to streaks, and you're able to pick that up. So that'll at least get stopped. But like you mentioned, the setup you have at bunker now, it's going to be tough to break. TJ's got 3 kills in a row. Smokes are out. Gunless able to find an opening kill. TJ through the smoke is going to fly on in. He spots Zero through it as his streak continues. The break is on. Gunless tacks on another. There's 1 player remaining in the hard point. They find a kill from Cabin, and just like that.
Can he get the streaks? Oh, I thought he was in his shot. They spawn Bell. He does a wonderful job diving in, and there we go on a 5 spree. 9 and 6 is the catalyst why Rise Nation is in this game.
What was the single biggest piece of that break for you? How they do it so easy?
I love the smokes in the back there. You see that a lot more often, but well, you talked about that break so easy.
Wow.
Red Reserve, they bully their way on in, ready to be able to find a couple. TJ though was able to get full streaks, so we know how important those can be on a map like Arden for us. Able to flank this hill, able to find 2 as well. TJ really stepping it up here.
Maybe it's not going to be a story of the ARs. It's going to be a story of the subs harassing the ARs. As TJ is 12 and 7, you see Slasher 3 and 10 as he'll try to pick it up. But you've got full streaks on TJ Haley. They're still trailing by 37, trying to get back into it. I'm going to go to an Astro Gaming listening with Rise Nation.
Yeah, back Kevin. Oh shit,
You guys are both doing the same thing?
Yeah, weak.
Far tank.
Hey, another one in Kevin.
No,
One more.
Maybe 2 more. Good. Get on.
He's on the bridge. I'm watching you. Yeah, you probably should.
I stood over you.
Guys, maybe?
I'm over you, Teej, if they try to push.
I might help you. I might need help you.
I'm real place. Got full pitch, all the way. First hard point right now. We flipped.
What's first hard point on me?
You. One shot zero. There's 2 middle.
Nated it over.
They can hit Cabin.
Yeah, Cabin right now. Push up on the wall.
Weak on the wall, Scraps.
I'm looking. He's not peeking me.
Middle, ready, going to Cabin.
Weak. Got me front cabin. Two there. Another one there. Joe.
Yeah.
We spawn bunker. Joe on the wall. Joe dead on the wall. Be far. I'll hold back bunker.
One shot dead in fire.
Short pick,
One more can be fourth.
Stun back bunker right now.
One can flank ice.
I'll back bunker. I'm
Going back bunker, and you pierce.
He is? Okay, I'm looking at it.
Zero's ice.
Need help or no?
Here's ice.
Yo, fire, pushing far on me.
Pushing fourth on you. Zero.
Yeah, I'm watching fourth.
Weak in the back as well.
Fourth dead.
Here's a
Back
copy.
still.
In bunker.
I'm dead.
I'm pushing up.
That's last guy right there.
That's me, Gladder here or no?
No. We have full control. They don't have a smoke.
One is back.
Nader over your son. Nader in son.
Weak fire tank. Fire alien back.
Fourth's open.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick it up.
Maybe I know.
I'm trying to help Hill. I'm helping Hill right now.
I think fire some.
I'm gonna challenge Siege.
Fire some. One shot.
Got 1 weak. 2 there. 2-1 L. Siege. They're gonna push you from behind. You probably have to push.
3 dead.
Got one.
Good job. Hold full pinch. You guys go.
Gotta push up, bro.
Okay.
Back fire. Back bunker weak.
Big ones, guys.
Fire alien and Bill.
Yeah, Bell Teej.
Yeah, bro.
You got dump pinch?
No, butter.
Yeah, I'm dumping.
I needed that fire. I needed it.
Weak middle.
I got you.
That's held.
Help him, Bell.
I have you.
Guy all dead.
Yeah, dead 2 back.
A back and forth battle here, Joe. Just about to be a tie game yet again as Rise retain control of Ruins. But like I always ask, any big takeaways from those particular comps?
I think Gunless, such a vocal leader. That's not typically a guy we talk to, but he continuously, was like, hey, I'm spawning here. Let's pick this guy up. He's cabin wall. They did a wonderful job at locking down cave. That was a full 60 for them. They spawned Red Reserve all the way out towards that ruin side. The one thing I didn't like, they invested in that artillery on the east road hill, but it ends up being okay as they got bunker control. They were able to lock down cave. And well, with Ruins, just 20 seconds left. They do take the lead, but you can see that number 2 arrow, that's Zero. He gets the spawns for Red Reserve. They're gonna have to break the back of bunker.
You find all the kills here if you Rise, but they all are going to pop for Red towards bunker. Big thing though, the streaks. You have an opportunity here to find him. Remember last time they broke into bunker so easily. That's not going to connect with anything, but it's at least going to push them into bunker and allow a bit of a presence, a bit of map control, allow Rise Nation to get a little bit closer to this hard point. Also, Slasher working towards some streaks. Remember, this push into bunker is where TJ got his streaks last time. Can Slasher do the same thing?
Yeah, the big thing with that glide bomb is it forces everybody through the front, right through the front of the bunker. There's nobody in the back. They throw the smoke. They're able to get on in. They are spawning Bell right now, so these are a couple of key gunfights going down for Red Reserve if they want to fight on back. But as you said, Slasher 4 in a row, make it 5, just trying to play his life, and they are A-okay with this contest right now.
And this should be perfect. A little bit of a bait, and there's the glide bomb. He's at least able to pick up one, but Red Reserve will clear out the hard point, so they'll continue to find time. Another lead change coming through. Red Reserve now back out in front. 10 seconds left on bunker as everyone trying to get set up here for East Road.
Yep, Rated able to find Slasher. And we always talk about it on this hill. You have to control this cabin area. And Rated, the first one here right now. He's going to have a 1 versus 1 versus Gunless, able to take that. Huge. But Looney, he's already at the cabin wall. He went all the way through. Can he win some gunfights? Looney, the key guy right now for Rise Nation, just trying to find time for his teammates. He now has Gunless's help as well. So a great job right there by Looney to stay alive. There's the pinch from Slasher and Gunless.
Wow.
Heads up play from him.
And what a big moment, because if Rated's able to find a couple kills there, maybe juggle the hard point once, he's going to pick up some streaks, but instead the harassment from Looney and then the assistance coming in. All the difference. Rated dies on that 5 streak, and you see the kills starting to build on the other end. I think you have 3 in a row for Looney, 4 in a row for TJ Haley. 10-point advantage right now for Red Reserve. You still see that glide bomb available.
I was going to say, the one good thing, though, is Joe actually gets a split spawn. He spawns out towards bunker while the rest of his team spawns bridge. And Rise Nation, we're trying to get that very same setup that we saw last rotation at cave. And due to Joe's spawn, it doesn't happen. He flanks cabin. He's able to find 2. So now Red Reserve in a very good spot with this 20-point lead.
Red looking good right now. Their player nearest to the hard point does get picked up. It's 3 kills that come in for Rise Nation, but Rated doing a great job here from the wood wall. 2 are able to get across. Can he take this gunfight? It's gonna be him versus TJ. He does have a PPSH to work with, but with that infantry class, he's susceptible to the stun, and he will drop. It's Slasher that comes through with a big play at mid-map. And now Rise right back into hardpoint. Zero doing what he can to just make sure Rise can't get any time here. There's still 2 minutes on the play clock.
I don't think they're going to use a fighter pilot here, but Scraps finds 2. Now 3 go down, but Joe's the only player there, so the waste of a fighter pilot, that's so big for Red Reserve. I think that's one you have to hold on for Ruins. It's so good at Ruins, but they wanted to get him off this hill. Don't know if I agree with that streak usage right there.
Well, that's a couple streaks you've now called out from the Rise Nation side. Is that going to be what ends up biting them? They've got him out of comeback now. Red Reserve about to crack the 200-point mark, and they have a presence here at U in Ruins. Scraps POV as he's going to get up top. Double nade coming in. Scraps pushes through him. They're not going to connect. He might be able to take some gunfights here. These are massive ones. TJ looking to trade it out, but the glide bomb from Slasher finally comes in. He gets 3 kills. He gets the clear, and now he's able to get into the hard point. Oh my God, can Rise bring it back on this hard point? Anytime for Red. So devastating, but the super sub duo there of Looney and TJ Haley able to spawn them all the way back out at bridge, and they've got to push on in with key positions here for Rise Nation.
Yeah, the one important thing for Rise Nation, hold on to that bell side of spawns. You want to set up for bunker, and that's the one hill they really haven't controlled. It's really been all Red Reserve off the rotation.
At least early, yeah.
TJ and Looney, they find 3 kills once again, and you see all of those red arrows. They're going to start to head towards that cabin side. It's just Scraps, but Scraps finds a couple of kills. We'll stop that scrap time for a few seconds. Looney now focusing on bunker. A great job once again to at least just negate some time. A 20-second game now. Looney, though, he gets taken down. Scraps finds 1 as well. This is a scary moment here for Rise.
With Looney dropping, that at least allows Red Reserve to get into the front of the hard point so they can contest. The play clock may actually come into play here, depending on how these final moments go. It's Rise trying to battle from the backside of bunker. Red Reserve just trying to contest from the front. Joe staying alive as long as he can. A little bit of a bait and switch, and that's 3 kills that now come in. It's going to be TJ, the last player here. He's doing his best to contest, but the pressure should come in. He's trying to stay alive as long as he can. TJ actually manages to get 1, but there is the clear, and every single second so key for Red right now. There's still just under 30 remaining here on bunker.
Yeah, Gunless though, he set up cabin wall. The rest of his teammates spawn back bunker. So these 25 seconds gonna go the way of Rise. We're gonna have about a tie game heading into East Road. And as you said, watch that game clock. 1 minute and 10 left. Looney, nice shots right there. You have 3 go down, and there's the fight over cabin control, and it's going to go the way of Rise Nation as we head to East Road.
Slasher on a 4 streak right now. It'll be interesting to see if he can pick up some streaks here as he works from cabin. New hardpoint pops. TJ the first man in, the nades come cruising in. He's able to pick up 1, but everybody dropping. It's really gonna fall to Slasher. He's the only man. He's the one trying to work on streaks right now as well.
These would be so big.
There's nobody in the hardpoint. Red Reserve's not even trying to get in right now.
Yeah, you have one guy going all the way around that 0. He gets taken off the guys off spawn, and you can see what Red Reserve are doing. They're trying to drain that game clock.
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Just trying to make this so difficult for Rise Nation. Finally, Looney gets on the hill, but here comes Rated. He's just going to peek this corner. Slasher still on that 5 speed. Now they're going to start to earn some time as kills do go the way of Red. Scraps now trying to push towards cabin. He knows Slasher's here. There's that gunfight. Slasher wins it, so Slasher on 6 in a row. But still, time going the way of Red Reserve. Just 25 more points needed for them to go to a grand final.
Slasher flies in. There he's able to get the glide bomb. At
That's
least
it.
we'll have that to work with. But take a look at that number 3 on the minimap. You're going to have Scraps set up towards cave already. Final seconds come in. 33 seconds or 32 seconds on the play clock. Just dwindling right now. Scraps in a great position to keep them out. Slasher has to invest this glide bomb to pick him up. He's not able to get into cabin inside in time. They have to get in the hardpoint. They have to get in the hardpoint. They can't let Red contest at all.
Yeah, and you can see what Red Reserve's doing. Just watching the cross. There we go. Scraps, though. That's a PPSH. Gunless has that STG. Rated, though. He finds 2 kills. He's staying alive. Just 10 seconds left on that game clock. Red Reserve, they're just draining it right now. TJ, he's going to get on the hill. Where's the contest? But Gunless able to find 2.
Oh, but he kills 3. Gunless kills 3. And now the time coming in. There's only 5.9 seconds
Yeah, throw
on
those
the play
smokes.
clock.
You got to throw those smokes if you're Red Reserve.
Oh my God, they're only down 5. Rise bringing it back here. Rise close to taking the lead. Gunless, that 3-piece so big, but the contest is in. They've got to clear the contest. There's the tie game. 2:27, 2:27. Time's running out. It's a tie game. It's a tie game.
And 3 Rise Nation players ran through that smoke, and Rated finds 3 kills. You saw one player on Rise was able to get streak.
Oh, Joe. Is this the first time we've replayed a hardpoint? It's got to be.
Probably ever.
Oh. Well, here we go. One more.
I'm not mad about it.
Make some noise in here, guys. This is awesome. Wow.
And here we go. So watch this play. Back and forth. Rated, he finds a couple of kills. But here comes Gunless and Slasher. They're going to win some key gunfights. There's that 3-piece out of Gunless. So now you're thinking Rise Nation control. 5.9 seconds on the clock. And, well, Red Reserve, they switch on over towards those smoke classes. Stuns go out. And, well, time going the way of Rise Nation. You're thinking everything is looking good right now. But watch this play. There's a smoke. Scraps wins 1, and Gunless and all these players of Rise Nation, they flank. And look at this. Rated just finds 3 easy kills with the STG. They just needed 1 more second, and they would have won that game.
Rated and Gunless just going huge there for either of their squads. I think the reaction you see on the players is exactly how we felt. Oh, he celebrated. He thought they had it. Oh, what a great shot that is. Oh,
I mean, it was just
my
a play out of
God.
Rated. They could have lost that right there. If Rated doesn't get those 3, that game's over.
Wow. I got chills there at the end, buddy. That was nuts. Whew. Well, we'll load it back up, hopefully hopping into this very quickly. What an insane, insane hardpoint.
Nope, it definitely was. I mean, both teams just battling back and forth. You saw just both teams really had those moments, so we'll see what will happen in this replay.
Oh, well, I'm exhausted. The players, likely as well, knowing we've got to go back through this. What a matchup of Titans from EU and NA going up against each other in this winner's bracket final. We're replaying the game for Rise Nation. Red Reserve will be right back after this quick break. Let's do it again, Joe. Oh, holy hell, what a game 4 that was. I believe that's the first time we've ever had a tie in Hardpoint that I can think of in the history of Call of Duty Esports. An insane finish, some heroic moments. Let's do it again.
Yeah, games like that, I mean, just worry me about your health, to be honest. I'm
with you on that.
Yeah, I'm worried.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome. I mean, hopefully we don't tie again. Otherwise, we're gonna be here all night. But does that who do you feel like? I guess who did that hurt the most?
I mean, it looked like Red Reserve. Obviously, Scraps looked pretty excited. They thought they won the map. But if you're Rise Nation, you'll take another chance. Red Reserve thought they were headed to a grand final. We'll see if Rise can, send this to a game number 5. It was a pretty crazy game 4, and we're gonna replay it all again. You see, the one key player for me, watch that number 4, that's Scraps. He's gonna go all the way around. He's gonna wrap back towards that U area, try to get control of that fire alley. Nice nade on into Gunless, able to find him. That'll allow him to pressure as well. Rise Nation right now getting some early time.
Well, seeing that we've never had a spot like this where you just get to play a map against a team, learn something, and play it again, what's like, I don't know, maybe something that Rise struggle with that they can really work to fix in this replay?
I think just a couple of times at Bunker, I didn't think they rotated too well. Same with Ruins. I thought Red Reserve did a couple of times. They would get the scrap time at Cave Hill, plus win that rotation towards Ruins, and I think a few streaks. I think if the streaks go a different way for Rise Nation, they probably win that one.
Could have, yeah.
I mean, TJ, once again, he had that fighter pilot, he had the artillery, which didn't give them much.
Anything for the Red Reserve side that you think they can really focus to fix in the replay?
I thought they played pretty darn well. I thought they didn't make too many mistakes. Obviously, if you look at East Road, that's probably one where Rise Nation, I felt, got a little bit more time than they should. But they just can't allow Rise Nation to get that, perfect setup that we saw at that cave area. And, that slaying power just has to step up a little bit. So you can see, well, Zero and Scraps are doing their thing once again with those submachine guns. And this fight for Ruins right now, pretty back and forth. But there's TJ opening things up.
Not really a lot of time coming in for either team. It was opening 20 seconds, but Rise Nation now able to get into the hard point. It's Slasher patrolling you with this STG. You see the 4-pronged attack trying to develop right now for Red Reserve, but the gunfight's going the way continuously for Rise Nation right now. Slasher finds a couple. They spawn him out deep at back bridge. And the first person into the next hard point will be TJ Haley. He's going to get set up. This looks very good for Rise.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've seen Rise Nation in this position. All the gunfights going their way. They are on a 11 spree, make it 12 right now as a team. And well, you have to talk about streaks because there's a lot of player on Rise who are getting pretty close to earning that as Looney. He's able to find 2 with that STG. He picked that one on up. Well, the perfect rotation over to Bunker. How will Red Reserve try to win this one? Yeah, nice shots right there out of Gunless on a rated.
Almost able to rip him off wood, but not quite able to finish it. Slasher just wanting to bait out a kill if possible here. Joe might push up. Slasher was able to take that, so he's building towards streaks. It's TJ inside. He'll drop right before he gets anything, but for him, at least Slasher is able to get the glide bomb and maybe more with this kill. There you go, fully streaked out. At least for Red, I guess TJ didn't win that second gunfight because then you would have 2 members fully streaked out for the side of Rise Nation. But this is not looking good early for Red.
No, this is scary right now for Red Reserve. Is finally rated able to get on in there, but Slasher is on a tear, sitting at 11-3. His AR counterpart rated 2-8 right now. He is dominating this matchup, but we know how quickly those tides can turn. If some rotations go your way, you can get into those power positions. So well, right now, rated sitting at that cabin wall, can find a couple of kills, but yes, when will Slasher call on those streaks? You typically don't see too many on this East Road Hill just due to the positioning of it.
And we're heading into our final hard point here in the first rotation, and Red just cracking the 20-point mark, so it was a very frustrating first 3 hard points from them. Let's see if they can turn it on. They're actually getting some great time right now from East Road. You mentioned you don't usually get a lot, but they got a solid, near 16 seconds, I think, to actually get out of the opening of that. So solid stuff for them to bring it back a little bit closer, but still a mountain to climb right now. And you gotta hope if you're Red, you got some poor streak usage out of Rise in the first game, like you mentioned. You might rely on that a little bit. you kind of hoping for that, as Slasher still has a lot he's holding in his back pocket.
Yeah, well, watch how Rise Nation, as they get 3 down, how will they transition over towards this Cave Hill? Because they had a perfect 60 there, which got them back into that game number 1 of this game 4. And yes, we're having a replay on Ardennes Forest. As well, you can see on the other side of the map, Scraps, though, able to find a couple of kills. Slasher, though, he's able to find 2 as well.
And I think what really stands out right now is the AR battle. Slasher is 15-6, Rated is 2-10. He cannot get anything going. And you mentioned coming into this particular map how difficult it would be for Rated going up against the likes of Gunless and Slasher. And I think the stats tell that story, Joe.
Yeah, but the only good thing, only 40-point difference right now.
That's very true.
Is, as you said, East Road going their way. There's the artillery strike in, but Scraps, he gets to the other side of the cave, and well, they're earning points, so this is very good news. Once again, the streak usage has not been perfect for Rise Nation. This is not good for them. As you can see, Red Reserve doing a wonderful job.
They got every second during that artillery. That's got to be painful. And then you have a 4 streak usage, and now a chance for maybe Scraps to get some streaks. He's very close. He gets a kill. Snaps out for the second. 6 stuff from Scraps as now he's got a glide bomb to work with. And he's ooh, 1 more bullet. He's hunting it. He wants it, and he's going to get in for the hard point time. And there is full streaks for him. So when it looked like early, Red Reserve maybe out of it early as Slasher was going off, Scraps comes back with a vengeance. And now a lot to work with for the Red Reserve side.
Yep, here comes that first fighter pilot. Now, as soon as Scraps is done with this, we'll have to wait and see if Slasher responds with one of his own. He's gonna find 2, but they do have the Bell spawn. That is very good for Rise Nation. The reason that they spawned there was due to Scraps positioning inside bunker. Here's that other fighter pilot called in. Not able to find anything, but Looney does find that kill. And once again, due to that close spawn, Rise Nation are still right there.
Slasher just keeps picking apart this Red Reserve side. He's 20-10 right now. Scraps on the other end with a submachine gun trying to match that. Scraps! I know there's a team kill in there, but he
and then
is
there's
on
Slasher,
fire right now.
Slasher finds 2 right behind him.
They're just like going kill for kill with each other. So look at 22-14, 22-10. Just back and forth we go. Slasher and Rise, though, once again, set up for bunker, a thing we mentioned they struggled with the first time through.
Yeah, but if I showed you right now, a scoreboard where Rated is 6-15, would you think it's a 5-point game?
Absolutely not.
I definitely would not. I mean, props to Scraps and Red Reserve for fighting their way back into this one. Here comes that glide bomb, able to get one onto TJ.
We mentioned it early, at least in the first time on this map, that it was kind of the subs taking over early. You get a different performance from Slasher, but the subs making their presence known. Speaking of one, that's Looney. It's able to get 2 and an assist. Still holding, but there is a back spawn. A back bunker spawn comes in for 0, so they've got a good opportunity here to pinch. Is Slasher going to be ready for it? It's going to be TJ that's holding the back. He's got to deal with 2 gunfights. He's getting pushed from Joe, hit from the backside, and 0 able to get in.
0 and Scraps, this duo right now, both with 20+ kills, having such a great game number 4. And well, Looney, though, he's able to find 2. And as we said, it's really the submachine guns. Yes, you have Slasher, but those 2 to 3 pieces every single time. There's Scraps doing it on the side of Red Reserve. Everybody just playing so well. These are 2 of the best teams in the world, and they're showing it off right here.
Bunker's done. Let's get back to East Road to finish our second set of rotations. Scraps still has the artillery to work with. And one thing to take note of again, look at that play clock. Only 2 minutes to go, and this is a similar position. There might have been more points on the board when we hit the 2-minute mark in the last one. This might go to time again.
Yeah, definitely might. Well, Slasher, TJ, they find some kills. And while East Road is typically, you don't see a lot of time on it. Well, I mean, Red Reserve did a solid job last time, but,
usually not.
Yeah, usually with the game clock, that's really where it drains.
Nice shots from Rated, but he's greeted by a grenade from TJ Haley right after he finds the kill. Play clock continues to dwindle right now.
The one good thing for Rise, they have cabin control. You can see Slasher, he's behind this rock right now, setting up for cave. Just 7 seconds left. And if they get this setup that we saw in the first play of this map, they can get a lot of time on this cave hill. So with this 23-second lead, we'll see what this turns into, because you can see Red Reserve, all 4 players spawn back bridge. Smokes do pop. I like that smoke. But TJ, free fires through it, able to find 0.
That's great help on Slasher. That smoke comes in. You can see they're almost able to get to a position on him. But TJ has his help. This has been a great opening to our 3rd cave hardpoint. All the time going to Rise right now. They're trying to flood forward. Gunless worried about kind of the push through mid to fire alley, but that hasn't been the case yet. TJ is just going off in and around the hard point. Finally, he's going to be traded out, and finally some time to tick into Red Reserve inside of the cave hard point. And this is key time. I mean, I know you're going to likely lose the rotation to next, but it's starting to get out of hand. Yeah, big 20.
The one key thing, Scraps does still have his artillery. And by the way, he's sitting at 34 and 21. Well, Zero, he's sneaking on in, able to find one on a TJ. Can he find another one on Slasher up top? No, great job by Slasher to get down, but Joe rips him off. Yeah, there's that artillery. So they're gonna invest it here. And you can see it's not on the backside. So if they get set up in the hill, they can start to earn some time, but 3 go down. A great job by Rise. Make it all 4. It's now gonna be their time to earn some time.
Again, back to that play clock. You know, their artillery comes in, they fan out, they find the kills, but nobody in the hard point for most of that. So we've got just over a minute left there. Looney with 3 at mid, 2 at the sub, 1 with the nade. Looney, an absolute beast. He's 30 and 23 right now, trying to match what Slasher's doing at 30 and 18. Rated, you know, hasn't really picked it up. He's 11 and 27. Something seems off with him on this particular map.
And this is big scrap time. You know, about 20 seconds. That'll put Rise near 210. And, you know, looking at that mini map, you already have Slasher in a good position to win this rotation. This would be the 3rd bunker rotation win for Rise Nation. Joe does win that one, but there we go. Gunless and Co, they're gonna push through Fire Alley, make sure they have those spawns. This could be the game here for Rise.
And the difference in bunker, is that the single biggest thing for you game 1 to game 2?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, it absolutely is.
Well, they were able to get in the front, at least contest. The trade comes in, TJ pinches from Fire Alley, and that is 4 dead, and this is getting very, very scary. Under 60 seconds to go on the play clock, 2:20, the mark for Rise Nation right now, and Gunless shredding out front bunker. He's able to get to safety in the corner as well. This could be where it ends unless they can contest. The contest comes through. TJ, a little bit of a dance with disaster there in the front, but Red Reserve is able to get in and live to see another hard point.
And you saw what Rise Nation was doing. As soon as they got inside the hill, they would throw a smoke out, really cut off the sightlines for Red Reserve, make them run through that. That's when they would have the, you know, that positional awareness, that advantage in those gunfights. You see that kill feed, all yellow. Finally, Raiden and Joe able to find some kills. But Rise Nation, they're just gonna need, what, 8 more seconds on this East Road Hill to send us to a game 5.
It's looking like we're headed that way. On with TJ right now as he's patrolling mid-map. Stop shooting, so he loses that gunfight as Scraps.
Scraps has 40, by the way.
Scraps is having a fantastic map. You just needed more out of Rated, 13 and 33, and he is one of the more consistent ARs in the game. This one's gonna haunt him.
Rated's a guy, though. They'll end up losing this one, and, you know, he's a guy, he's gonna be upset with himself. We'll bring it in that game 5.
Yeah, exactly. Does it matter if you win the game 5? Absolutely not.
No, it doesn't
Final
matter
points
if you win
in.
game 5.
Rise Nation. There is the victory, and let's get to a game 5. Oh no, I meant that performance won't matter if you win the game 5.
I was like, game 5 matter. Yes, it does.
You'll forget the 13 and 33 or whatever it was very quickly if you take the series.
Yep.
Wow.
So a great replay from Rise Nation.
So it just seemed like they fixed more of their mistakes, and you know, those early setups are partly probably why maybe you saw Rated struggle. You had early rotations for Rise Nation, you get Gunless and Slasher set up, and they're just able to dominate. But guys, we just had a replay of map 4. What an insane moment. A tie game into a Rise Nation victory. Coming up next, the all-important game 5 winner heads to the grand final. Don't go anywhere. It is time for map 5 in one of the most ridiculous series I've been a part of.
Map 6?
It is map 6, right? Best of 6. And this is a map. We're going to London Docks, guys. Red Reserve since stage 2 are 5-1. Rise are 4-0. So they are both very good here. But you and I casted probably one of the most impressive search and destroy performances I've ever seen. It was about a month ago. It was rated on London Docks. He goes 19-6, absolutely takes over. He's stellar on this map. And the great story here, he's coming off a horrific performance there in the game 4 or 5, whatever you want to call it. Can he bounce back here and take over against what many consider the best team in the world?
And I don't see why not. Knowing the type of player that he is, always so confident in himself, always so confident in his teammates. You know, he probably told the guys during that break, hey, I'm going to pick it up. We're going to win this game 5. We're going to head to the grand final.
Final bosses. Scraps, a 1.7, and Slasher, a 1.49, have the highest Game 5 S&D KDs out of all CWL players this year. Wow, that's one hell of a stat.
Those are some ridiculous.
All right, never mind, screw rated. Scraps, so that's insane. Ice in the veins of those guys for sure. But Anaheim, here we go. Game 5, winners bracket final. Who's gonna take it, Red Reserve or Rise Nation?
Yeah, and well, Rise Nation, they call the push, but look at that. You see number 3 on the minimap. That's Joe. Joe, he's going to make such a big play here in a second. He gets behind the lines of Rise Nation. He's going to see all 3. Finds 1, finds a second. Can he get to 30? Can. Joe goes huge.
Joe, with an incredible play on the flank, finds the gap in the Rise Nation defense, and suddenly it's Gunless left all alone on an island, having to try and pull off a 1 versus 3.
Little peekaboo action there from Joe.
Joe's just saying hi.
Well, he's working on the ace, and yeah, Gunless, he's going to go for a nice little swim. And that's going to be the first round there to Red Reserve. But I mean, Rise Nation, they play it correctly. They 3-stack B. The only issue is they had no vision on the middle of the map. Gunless was water stairs, watching that cross to that A bomb site. And well, Joe takes the risk.
And what you got to think about now is that's going to, it's not, Rise is going to let that happen again. So they're going to have to change something up. They're going to be worried about that going forward. Like the fact that happens in round 1, and that's the type of play that honestly can really frustrate a team. And we know there are players on Rise Nation. Gunless is one in particular that can get triggered by certain plays, and that's got to be frustrating. Just all get tagged on the flank like that. But let's get into round 2. Now we'll see if Rise Nation can answer on offense. And remember, the search and destroy, the first search and destroy in game 2 was very, very favored towards Rise. They took complete control. Nice nades towards Statue, though, will give Gunless a first blood.
Yeah, but 2 players almost get picked by Rise Nation. A little bit lucky. 1 more bullet from Joe, 1 more bullet from Rated, and both of those guys go down. But nice nades out of Rise to get that first blood. They're now within that A site. You see Looney hasn't started that plant yet. Looks like they're trying to get a little bit more map positioning. Scraps, though, with that sniper rifle. Can he find a pick? Gunless almost peeks. Does find Rated, though. Now 4 versus 2.
0.
And why haven't they planted?
Able to pick up a kill? That's a great question, Joe. We'll see if they'll work to get that down. Someone's got to pick up the bomb in order to plant it. There you go. Gunless is going to grab it. He's got 2 kills in a row, so he's going to get the extra points here for the plant. Scraps trying to push in and maybe catch him, but he's going to get tagged up. TJ able to finish it. It all now falls to 0. He has been a superstar this weekend, finding that MVP form once again, but that's too tall in order. Rise Nation able to close out the 3v1, and we're now tied up at 1 round apiece.
Yeah, there was a couple of kills that almost went down for Red Reserve, but Rise able to stay alive. Once they get inside that inner bomb site, Gunless takes a couple of 1v1s, and well, very similar to Valkyrie. There was that one round where the Rise Nation just didn't plant the bomb, so.
Well, I like that. I mean, you take a little bit of a gamble flying out to Statue like that to try and get the angle with the AR. Unfortunately,
you almost had him.
Unfortunately, you just catch 2 nades.
Yeah.
Let's get into round 3. And yeah, Gunless is the one that picks up the bomb and gets the plant behind the 3 kills. So he's starting to mount towards streaks a little bit. TJ making sure no kind of cheeky stuff happens from Joe through mid-map again. But it's a very, well, I was going to say a very quick plant, but they're able to connect the 2 grenades. So Rated's going to drop as he's trying to get that down. Next man up is going to be Scraps. He's trying to work this plant, but they're already in a 2 versus 4. Is this a winnable situation? Well, maybe not anymore. I was going to say a 2v4, maybe they can pull off, but it's all on 0 now. Rise Nation have 35 seconds to hunt this kill. 0's going to be able to take the first gunfight. pre-fires. Wow, that almost would have been nasty. He hits the pre-fire there on TJ, but TJ ultimately able to win it. Now you have, as he gets the defuse, you've got multiple players building towards streaks. I think it's 3 kills in a row for what, TJ and Gunless?
Yep.
Or sorry, is it Looney and Gunless? I'll take a look.
No, but that round, obviously Slasher's all the way in the back, but he gets that information. As soon as that player starts planning, that was rated. The smoke wasn't down, but Red Reserve knew they had all the map positioning in the world. And well, those nades come in, they're able to find that first blood, and then Joe trying to be a little bit too sneaky towards that low water side, trying to go on a bit of a late flank. He gets caught out, makes it that 4 versus 2. So a good defensive round there from Rise.
Scraps getting very aggressive here on the A site. Can he take the first gunfight? He can't catch TJ. TJ able to get the first blood. He's been such an impact player in that capacity throughout the course of, well, the history of this team, and especially this weekend, just taking over the game with 4 kills in a row. That'll be a plant, and it's all gonna be on to 0. He's gonna drop.
And I don't know who got that kill, but I love the play out of TJ because he allows the bomb to go down, which gets that player streaks. And yeah, Gunless planted it, so Gunless, he's gonna have 2 streaks and be very close to a fighter pilot.
So a 3-1 advantage. Streaks on the side of Rise Nation. You know, I know the replay, obviously the tie, frustrating. You saw Scraps on his feet already. It certainly seems that Rise Nation came out better after the replay.
And our 2 final bosses right now sitting at 0-5.
Wow.
Rated still having a very slow series, 0-4. If you just saw that map 4, he did not play well on Ardennes Forest, and it has carried over to London Docks. But here we go. They slow it down a little bit. I like that play. I mean, these rounds, especially these 3 that Rise have won in a row, have been so fast.
Wow, gotta hit that. Scraps had an opening there, but just barely misses. So Gunless gonna live to see another day. He wants to keep holding this angle. He should get picked. There you go. You can't give him a second chance there.
No, you definitely can, but you see what happens when Scrap almost misses as well. He almost gets ripped off. But Rated able to find another one, and Rated loves to do that. He loves to play a little bit slow towards that B side as his teammates push A. Now a lot of pressure on the Looney. We'll see what he can find. And as you can see, due to Rated's position, Slasher just now rotating over to that B site, or from that B site. Bomb going down. Joe able to get that plant off. So now a 2 versus 4. What can Rise Nation do?
Looney's got to think about these streaks too. I mean, he's got 4 kills in a row. I know he has a ways to go. But if this doesn't seem winnable, maybe just think about the next round. He's gonna peek out, he's gonna get picked at 0 with the kill, and now it's Slasher by himself. He's gonna drop, and that was a huge round victory for Red. It seemed like things were really starting to slip away in this game 5.
Yeah, the momentum was shifting all the way towards Rise, and like I said, they switch up the pace a little bit. Obviously, they rely on the Scrap snipe, but you know, Gunless gives it to them, and as soon as that first blood goes down, they take that low site.
0, talking things through. They were able to take that one, and then really that big flank round in the opening round that Joe was able to get him behind and find all 3. Rise Nation seem to be doing a similar offensive push to their first round, which is very quickly going to hit A. Joe going to get tucked away here on bomb. He's by himself, though. A lot of pressure on him to make the play once they come in. He has no support at the back window right now.
Now, very similar to Red Reserve's offense. Watch that number 6 arrow, that top right player, that Slasher, just watching the flank right now, but he may push that late flank as the round timer dwindles. When will Rise Nation attack? You still have the streaks as well, and there we go. Joe in a very sneaky spot. TJ finds him. TJ able to get that gunfight, and then Looney able to pick up 2, but 1 is on his teammate, and there's a glide bomb as well. They're trying to close this round out right now. Not able to find anything, but it is a 3v2. And Slasher, as I said, working this late flank, able to find 1 on 0.
Another tough spot for Scraps. A 1 versus 3. Bomb hasn't been planted yet, but just look at the minimap. Rise Nation all over the place. Nothing he can do. He'll get dropped, and that is, I don't know if it all comes down to that kind of TJ and Joe fight, but the fact that TJ's able to get that kill is huge. Joe at least picks up 1 there. Maybe it's a different story.
I mean, TJ just checks it. I feel like there's some players in that position that don't check it. They just drop to the lower water. That's when Joe gets all the information in the world. But a huge first blood, and then Looney able to follow it up.
How many first bloods is that for him now? So it's 2 first bloods for TJ, 4 total for Rise Nation, only 2 on the side of Red Reserve right now.
Yeah, and that's a round count right now.
That's true. See how influential those first bloods can be. Looney is playing his life around apples. He's got Gunless inside of the A side as well. A lot of vision and map control right now for Rise Nation. It's just Red that are trying to find an opening pick. It may have to come from Scraps. No, it's going to be Rated. Now getting involved in the action. That's going to be his second kill in this one. It'll give them the 4v3 advantage. Gunless almost evens the odds. Not able to finish it there, and the nade will come in a little late.
Yeah, that's why Red Reserve is a little confused. They're not able to get Gunless out of that window, and they're going to run into Slasher as well. Slasher, he's going to get caught out, though. Oh, the rotation comes in for Red Reserve, and Gunless, well, he's going for a swim. Now it's TJ left in a 1 versus 3. And well, now make it a 1 versus 2 as he gets the bomb carrier as well. And those last 2 players are pretty split up.
Oh, my God. This is very winnable for TJ. 7-3 right now. He's already got 2 in this one. Can he find the final 2? He peeks it. Oh, but he stopped shooting! He stopped shooting! That's a sigh of relief from Zero, I think, because he was dead to rights.
Yeah, he misses a couple of shots, and then you saw the triangle come in, and he expects the flank to come in. He starts turning around, trying to find that second player.
You know, you were a pro, obviously. It's just one of those times where you think you have the kill, and you start thinking of the next step.
Yeah.
Wow. You've never done that, though.
Never. All the time.
Another big round victory for Red, just keeping it tight. Trailing by 1 right now. Rise Nation's been heavily favoring that A site. They're going to be pushing towards B this time, and that's going to be Joe that tucked away near the bomb. TJ, though, another first blood for him. That's going to be 3. Looney flying in. Scraps in a world of trouble.
Oh, you get stuck?
3 players soaring in. TJ with another kill. He's 9-4 in this game 5. And Rated now. PPSH in hand.
He's done. Yeah, he's gonna give it up.
Wow.
And they've only used the glide bomb, correct? So you still have the fighter pilot and the artillery strike on Gunless. Rise Nation just 1 round away.
And TJ has just completely taken over this map.
Yeah, he's the final boss.
Completely taking it over.
He's just so confident. Just so confident in his ability to find those kills. Has no fear in him.
And that, I mean, I think he just ran right through lights because Joe went up and kind of tucked away by the
bomb.
bomb.
It was a 3-stack from Red.
Scraps watching what, kind of the left side of the truck, and he just soars right in through lights and gets the pick. Red now in a must-win situation every single round.
It's looking like Gunless, is he gonna use one? Yep, here we go. Fighter pilot called in. Now all of Red Reserve have to try and get inside.
Scraps got a kill during that. Gunless able to get 1 and even the odds. 3 versus 3. Joe's tagged up, but Slasher can't finish the kill. They thought maybe he was behind bomb, so Gunless gonna use a nade there to no avail. And it looks like it's gonna be a rotation out from Red Reserve, so how quick do they react to this?
I was gonna say, if Slasher doesn't shoot there, yeah, you see the bomb carrier go back actually. He's going back because that shot comes in. So Slasher's actually, because he shot, they rotate back to 8, and there's the artillery. And Red Reserve have played this so well, they might have called this bait.
They're going up mid-map. He just got vision on him. Gunless is 1 shot. Zero's trying to push it out.
He saw both players.
He has help. He has help, but it's Slasher that's going to be coming in. It's Zero now that has to clutch in a 1v3. Can't finish the first, and Rise Nation survived the gauntlet. One of the more insane series we've ever had in the Call of Duty World League. And they will move on to the grand final.
Just a great game really from Gunless and TJ on the side of Rise Nation. Obviously Red Reserve, they still have another shot. I believe they'll go up against Luminosity next to get back to this grand final. But yeah, I think it's just that map number 4, that first one that we went through. If Red Reserve wins it there, who knows what happens in this tournament?
That's true, and it almost seemed like, you know, I don't know if it was Red coming out a different team or Rise coming out a different team, but Rise obviously take the replay. They control the bunker hardpoint much better. And specifically, the person that kind of struggled after it was Rated. I mean, Rated seemed after at least that first play of Arden Forest wasn't really getting back to the form you expected to be in.
No, I thought for sure he was going to try and take over game 5. Even Scraps with that sniper rifle. Rise Nation did such a good job of not giving him any opportunities. I mean, every single round he had it out. They found a couple of kills really on the backs of TJ, Gunless. Even Looney had a great game 5.
But really, a lot of it comes down to winning the searches, right? You get a 6-2 victory in game 2 for Rise. You get a 6-3 victory in the game 5.
That's why they're so tough to beat.
They don't really have a weakness in game mode, do they? And now that's what's so tough. It's like if you think Rise get knocked to losers and they have to battle back, you know, you give a good chance to another team. But with them sitting as the final boss, waiting in that grand final with 2 best-of-5s to work with, who in the hell is going to be able to beat them? But the superstar throughout that series, Mini Tout is the best player in the world. It's Gunless, and we have him on stage for your PlayStation Instant Reaction.
Thanks, Maven. Talk to me about the moment you realized that second Hardpoint was a tie and you had to redo it and you had another chance. What was your reaction?
Honestly, me and Austin tried to get on hill right away and try to get that last second. I thought Austin was in time to get that last tick to try to bring us over the board and get 228. I also thought I was 1 second as well, but it didn't give us a tick, and we were just sitting there. It's like, all right, whatever, just full reset. Let's go, try to win this, and then take the S&D.
Emotionally, though, how were you feeling?
I was wondering kind of what was going on. We were kind of slaying them a bit, and we were playing our streaks pretty heavily, which kind of screwed us over on some points. But I'm pretty happy that we got a reset and we're able to show up.
All right, well, you are, of course, headed to the grand finals, so congratulations on that. You will either be facing Luminosity or, of course, Red Reserve again. What are your thoughts?
I'm just happy to be in grand finals again.
All right, well done. Well, thank you so much for the interview. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction. We'll be right back after this quick break.
toughest, baddest squad on and off the field. Neither tank, nor sniper, nor minefield could take them down. They had names like Classic, Decimate, Hook, Chino, and Jack.
Guys, is it just me, or does that seem like a lot of explosions? I mean, I know we're going for this whole epic walk thing, but... Oh, we should have worn earplugs.
Only 3 teams are left standing here in Anaheim: Red, Rise, and LG. And Rise has done a darn good job at earning that spot in the grand final. My name is Rich, and I am going to be your host, and I am joined by Revan, Chance, and Mud Dog. And we got to talk about that series. I feel like there were 2 definitive halves to it almost. One after a draw, which, Revan, I don't even know when the last time we saw one of those was.
Black Ops 2, I could tell you that. It happened back then, but definitely a long time ago. And yeah, I mean, it was a long 6-game series. Both teams were tested throughout, but in the end, Rise Nation stood tall on the mountain.
And let's talk about that first half of the game, if you will, the first half of the series, because it really was just a period where we saw both of these teams firing on all cylinders. It was very back and forth, but we saw one of the most dominant Reds that you really could expect to see.
Yeah, that first Hardpoint was a super close match. It was actually pretty interesting. At one point in the game, Red was up by about 100 points, but they only were up in the kill differential by about 4 kills. So that shows they're getting those important kills around the hill and on rotation to earn them that time.
I think Red Reserve has some insane stat that JP tweeted out where they've been outslayed in like 7 of their hardpoints or something like that, and they've still won 6 of them. I think even like the first hardpoint that had to be replayed on Forest, they got outslayed by like 19 kills, and it was a tie game.
Absolutely insane stuff. The other insane thing is definitely going to be the moment that we're going to look at right now. This is going to be that overtime that actually happened in the CTF. Revan, what was the story of this?
I mean, look, you already set the scene. This is overtime, right? So you got time on the clock, Scraps with the flag in his hand, and it's Looney trying to catch that flag carry, but that window of opportunity was there for just a moment. Able to slip through is Scraps, and they wound up getting the cap from there.
Now, obviously, that was a tough shot for Looney there. He ends up missing it, but I do want to give him some credit. That first kill he probably shouldn't have even gotten, so great job by him to put himself in the position to stop that, but unfortunately, he's not able to execute there.
Now, before we even got into this series, I asked a question to you guys on the desk about Red potentially being a momentum team. They seem to have all the momentum. It seemed like, even though they are somewhat emotional at times, it seemed like this is where they're going to thrive. They're going to be able to just dominate with all of that in their sails. But then we get to that period where they actually don't get that draw win. They have to replay. And did they lose the momentum there? We're going to have to watch it right now, and I think the reaction is going to be a little telling from Red Reserve, but it's just such a crazy scenario. 227, that's going to be all that Red Reserve scores here, trying to play out that clock. Only about 6 seconds left. What does Rise do here, Chance, to bring this back?
Exactly what they need to. Get inside the hill, milk it for every single second you can, and avoid at all costs letting Red Reserve get to contest. You can't get out of the hill. You have to play it to perfection, and potentially even better, but they can test comes in, and it happens when there is just one more point on the clock. Then they stay out, they try to dive back in, and the final kill, I mean, just a bullet saving the game there and at least forcing that second hard point.
And you see that reaction out of Red right there. I really think that this is something that took the wind out of their sails. They were in control of that hard point the whole game, and then at the last second they let it slip through their fingers. The next map they get blown out of the water and lose game 5.
Literally nobody knew what was going on. Like we actually go back and watch that replay. Scraps didn't know what was going on. None of you guys knew what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. It was absolutely nutty, absolutely nutty. And you know, even Gunless up on the main stage said, look, we thought that we had the tick. We actually thought that we closed it out. Then we looked at the screen and we were like, oh my goodness, it's actually a draw. I think Jess asked the question of what emotions were going through your head, and you can tell the only emotion that ever goes through Gunless' head is winning, and he definitely had that emotion very strongly after we got back in and replayed that hard point.
Yeah, that's not an emotion.
It is for Gunless.
For Gunless, I was going to say, I completely agree with what Eric said. I think after that moment where Red Reserve don't get that final ticket in their favor and it winds up tying after they think they win, it's just like you feel the mood just just deflating on their side of the stage. That was their moment to close out the series.
And speaking about Gunless there, I want to give him a shout out. In the listen-in in the first map that ended up being a tie, he was leading in game. He is doing it all. He's slaying, he's telling his teammates where to be. You hear him even calling out, he's counting the other team's smokes. He is paying such a high level of attention to detail in this game, and that's something that makes him the best player in the world.
I think a few people on this desk, Chance, I think you were one of them, who has said, look, Gunless is just hands down one of the best players in the entire world, if not the best.
Absolutely, and that's an example of like how difficult it is to beat them. Like it literally is going to take an overtime in the CTF. It's going to take a game that comes down to a damn near tie in the Hardpoint. That was the opportunity though, because now whichever team makes it out of like the losers finals, they have to beat them twice, and like that's what it takes. Like 2 series of games like that. I think it's just about impossible. We'll see if someone can prove me wrong, but again, I've been calling Rise since the start of it. I think this tournament is just in the palm of their hands.
Yesterday we joked about math on the desk. I think that it's a pretty big statistic anomaly to be able to take down a squad like this in 2 series. Very, very difficult stuff indeed, but you mentioned the idea of the squad looking deflated of Red Reserve. Was there one player in your mind, Revan, that looked particularly deflated?
It's tough to put it on just one player. I feel like for Red Reserve all kind of tournament along, it's been a team effort. I just felt like the mood overall from the team just kind of got deflated, and rightfully so. Like we were saying, they were in control of that game from start up until the very end, and they were making the right plays. I feel like that's the right call to make, to bleed time off the clock. It's just unfortunate that it comes down to that one final second where Rise Nation tied up.
I think that really affected Rated the most. You saw, I mean, he's one of the best slayers in the game, but in that replay of the Hardpoint, he goes 14 and 34. We talked before the match about that main R battle between Slasher and Rated lost that battle.
And I was totally thinking of him when I asked that question as well. That was kind of what I was trying to get at, and ultimately, I do think it shows just a little bit. I think when we talk about that team being one of those, we use the word momentum a lot, but emotional also is going to kind of cover the same bases, to be completely frank. That's kind of the player that we do look at here. The question is, they have made these long momentum runs in the lower portion of the bracket. Do you think that they can do it again to get back to the grand final?
Absolutely. I mean, they've been one of the best teams, obviously, in the world coming into it. You expected them to potentially make the grand finals from the outset. I see no reason why that would change. Rated has one bad map, that's fine. You had to play 6 in the series. Like, eventually one of them is going to be bad. For the turnaround, though, it's an interesting matchup between them and LG, because, like, you'd think the entire year, Rated versus Formal, you just say Rated, you don't think twice about it, but now Formal, like, he seems like a new beast, or the old beast that Formal used to be, right? Like, he seems to be returning to form, so I think it's just a really interesting matchup we have in the losers finals.
He seems to be powering up with every passing map as well, so who even knows what form he is going to be when we ultimately do get to this next matchup. But you got to credit the runs that both of these teams have gone on here. Very different runs indeed. LG already overcoming quite a lot of things, and now they are going to find themselves in this rematch. And I also want to point out, a lot of the wins that we have actually seen on the side of LG is them just absolutely smoking teams. They have gotten quite a few 3-0s under their belt.
Yeah, I think now they have back-to-back 3-0s as they're continuing this loser bracket run. And like we've been saying from start to finish from this tournament, each game that Luminosity get under their belt is a game that they're getting better. It's a game that they're getting more comfortable with one another, and they're learning how to fit Formal in that system properly.
So some people talk that the losers, or playing in the losers bracket, can be an advantage. You're playing all day, you're playing back-to-back matches. If they have that momentum leading into this series, they might be able to take out Red.
And let's talk about this series. It's going to be LG